but she was adamant, like, we have to do these ads. That's what everybody says we have to do. And I was like, okay, we can try it, but if it doesn't work, like, let's really talk about SEO. So we gave it a run. It didn't work because you're targeting the whole country and your budget's gone in 5 minutes. And so we did the SEO, and she couldn't believe the difference that SEO made because the people were looking for.
It's season 7 of the 15-ish minute coffee chat with Anna and Selena. Selena is the owner of Howley Socially Inspired. She's our Hawaiian rock star who loves all things tech and says coffee is her love language. Anna owns Nomadabout. She's the adventure-seeking copywriter who loves a good road trip and has a passion for supporting military spouses and entrepreneurs. Join Anna and Selena weekly to listen in on hot topics that will build your brand, keep you current with best practices, and help you grow as a business owner or entrepreneur.
Today's guest, Julie Kaczmar, SEO expert, joins us to chat about the basics of search engine optimization, which is called SEO, what it is, keywords, an understanding of search engines, tools to improve your SEO, and how SEO differs from search engine marketing during today's 15-ish minute coffee chat.
Hey guys, so I bet you're thinking, what day is it? What time is it? What is going on? Because this is not any of the advertised times that they've all been discussing. So we just want to preface this, Kate, and this is what I love about entrepreneurship is that you have to be very flexible. Very flexible. Today's guest, extremely flexible, like extremely. And so
accommodating.
Yeah, this is a conversation we wanted to have today. We really wanted to have it tomorrow, but circumstances have made us, we had to pivot a little bit. I know we hate that word, but we are here. Anna is in an airport hotel right now at a delayed. If you haven't seen the news, Anna, it has been all over. Like every email that I've got today has mentioned American Airlines, and it's snafu this weekend.
Yes. And I am one of the casualties of American Airlines and their cancellations. So we appreciate tomorrow during the normally scheduled time. Yeah. I'm going to be on an airplane, fingers crossed. Yeah. Actually, I will be because I'm going to fly Alaska and not American. So
right. I know. So, okay, look, today's topic is about SEO, and Anna, in our dual efforts together when we build our client's website, she handles all of the copywriting and the SEO optimization. Well, that was a double, but she handles all of that. So she did not want to miss this conversation with Julie today. And I was like, so Julie, we were,
I'm just going to jump in. Julie is my go-to, right? Yeah. I have a question. Yeah. She's who I go to. Yeah. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Julie is.
She gives you a lot of go-tos is what you're saying. So.
Yes.
All right. Let me,
for today. Yeah.
Yeah. No, let me bring up, let's bring up the bio. And I'm sorry. Actually, you know what my job is today, guys? I'm supposed to give you our call to action question, and we'd like for you to answer this whether you're watching the replay or live today.
Yes.
Do you know what keyword you would fall under to be found by a search engine? So what we'd love for you to do, throw in the comments, if somebody was looking for you, what keyword do you think that they would pop in there to find you? That's what we would love to know. So, okay, this lovely lady, let's pop over to her bio. Anna's going to give it a good read.
Yes, I would love to read her bio.
Yeah.
So Julie holds a Bachelor of Science degree in business and marketing and has worked in the marketing field for over 20 years. She has worked with hundreds of clients across the U.S. She's an experienced search engine optimization SEO strategist and search engine marketing SEM leader who is passionate about working with small businesses, nonprofits, and military spouses to help grow their business with effective SEO, PPC ad campaigns, and creative marketing strategies. Julie is a military spouse who currently lives near the Washington, D.C. area. In her free time, she loves spending time on the water paddleboarding, love that, and planning their next family vacation or adventure. So I'm going to bring Julie on, and we're just going to say hi, huh?
Let's do it. Hello. Welcome to the show, Julie.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, let me ask you that question, Julie. What keyword would you be found if somebody's looking for your service? What would they need to put in?
That's a great question. I would say, like I've talked with you guys about this before. All of my business has come from word of mouth. So I'm one of the rare ones who doesn't have a website, and I don't practice what I preach. And I know that sounds really bad, but it's
No.
I've been so busy just with, like, I had a couple calls last week of people like this person, asked, told me to give you a call. They said that you can do this. Can you help me? I just had another client text me the other day who I did SEO for a couple months ago. He's like, I need your services again. Are you available? I'm like, I'm booked out about 3 months. He's like, that's perfect timing. That's what I need you. So luckily, but I am in the process of like coming up. I have this fun website idea that I'm in the process of doing. And so something that I'll fill you girls in on later that doesn't relate to SEO.
Yay! So
I love that your success is word of mouth. That really, that to me says a lot about how you work as a small business, right? Like people trust you. They find you reputable. They share your information because you are good at what you do.
Yeah.
I typically have probably one phone call a week of somebody told me to call you, that you're the person to go to.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So it's just kind of, it's just work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kept me very busy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, wait, before we get into all of the questions that we have for Julie, because, we've had her, really, it should be like wine coffee chat tonight because we're doing nighttime. However, we're just going to do our typical coffee cup selfie with whatever mug we have and snap a pic with Julie today, guys. And, Anna's hotel room because it's awesome. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we did it. Yay, cheers. Thank you again, Julie. Seriously, like we really appreciate your flexibility today. Seriously.
No, not a problem.
Okay, Anna, let's dig into it. Let's go. Let's ask Julie the first question. She's like, she's there. I think she's there. Oh no.
I think she's there.
Yeah, I think she's there. Oh, yeah. She's a little, hey.
She's a robot. She's a robot.
She's a robot. Anna, you might have to do that camera thing we discussed. You're kind of there. Let's see. I'm going to go throw in something and we're going to start. We're going to start here. So I'm going to put this here and we're going to move you here and we're going to do this. All right, Julie.
Perfect.
Tell us what is search engine optimization.
Well, like Anna said before, search engine optimization, SEO.
Right.
It's when taking pieces of online content and optimizing them for search engines like Google. So your searches show toward the top. So I'm going to use Google as all my examples because that's the number one search engine. Yeah. So there's two main categories when it comes to search engines, and that's the paid search results and the organic search results. So the goal of SEO is to rank your website in the organic search results. Right. Especially for small businesses, they don't have a big budget. They don't have a lot of money. My clients have very, very small budgets. Yeah. So I like to work with them and teach them tools that they can use to do this themselves and not have to spend a ton of money on advertising. Yeah. I do like to throw in, that's where the SEM pay-per-click comes from too, because that does benefit. Yeah. But having SEO really helps clients. And like one thing that you'll hear me say a lot is not about beating or being number one in the search results, about beating your competition. So I work with a lot of realtors, and we're never going to beat Zillow and Realtor.com and their brokerage and all that. So we have some like unique things that we do just to kind of beat their competition. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Google uses like 200 ranking signals in their algorithm. Yeah. So it can be divided under 4 categories. So you have on-site SEO, off-page SEO, technical SEO, and then you have the user interactions. Okay, she's back. She's back. Okay, let's say that again. On-site. What are the 4 on-page SEO? Okay. Off-page SEO, technical SEO, and then user interactions. Those are like the 4 subcategories, I would say. Okay. So on-page, on-page would be your keywords. Okay. So like when I work with a client, I typically tell them, I want you to come up with 10 keywords that you think somebody would find you. And I'm like, then search for those 10 keywords and tell me where you're at. And those are going to be the 10 keywords. And I'm just like, pick your dream keywords, like where you want to be found, and send that list to me and show me where you're at. So I know where you're at. And, you're going to see where you're at after we're done doing SEO. And then after we do that 10, if they want to go to the next 10 and the next 10, but I kind of like to start in small increments just to kind of see, where they're at and make sure they're happy with everything too. Right. So then the off page is the backlinking. So that's one of those very important, having those relationships with other websites, other friends, people that like this, like us, like, you're
Right.
doing these kind of things. So they're linking over to your website. So you have that backlinking there.
Yeah.
And then the technical is the speed. So that's very, very important now, especially with all the new algorithms, is your mobile and your desktop's loading fast and all, everything that's going on behind the scenes there. And then the user interaction is your user experience that we all love to talk about. It's that experience they have on there.
Yeah.
And are they getting on there and they're bouncing because they're not finding what they like? So Google doesn't like to see a high bounce rate.
Yeah.
So just making sure that people stay on your website, they're clicking to other pages. So, they're just having a good experience on the website. So that all plays a role in the new SEO.
Yeah. Hey guys. So when Julie talks about bounce rate, what that means is how long the client actually stays on your website. And what do you know? Is it 10 seconds or something? Like if they leave after so many seconds,
I thought it was 15 seconds, but maybe it's
15,
10.
right. Google considers that like they don't like your website. It wasn't what they were looking for. And your score, it's a percentage. You want the lower the percentage is, the better for you. Because it means that, okay, only 10% of the visitors are leaving the website. So the other 90% actually found your website useful.
So that's something like when you look at your Google Analytics, like look at your bounce rate and see what it is. I tend to see people who have blogs on their website, they do have a high bounce rate because, if I find something on Pinterest, I go read the blog or I do the recipe and I don't go anymore on their website. So I do tend to see those as being higher bounce rates. So you have to kind of look at your website and think, okay, if I do have a high bounce rate, why is this? Is because I have a lot of people come and reading my blogs? Is it more they're not finding this content useful? What do I need to do? To make this more user friendly.
Julie, I have to tell you. So, my website my business name is How Oli Socially Inspired, and on one of the pages, I say How Oli means in Hawaiian happy. And when I first started, guess what? I had a high bounce rate, but because people were searching for how do you say happy in Hawaiian? My page was actually coming up under searches, but they obviously weren't, it is awesome. But I mean, they were doing it for Hawaiian, like learning Hawaiian and not like for my services. But
so your bounce rate was high then.
Yeah, but you knew why, right? And so you have, like you said, and this is why I love Google Analytics. It gives you the opportunity to make changes or tweaks so that you are not getting nixed by Google, right? So, okay, Anna, how are we feeling? Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That might happen again. I cannot promise it's not going to, but I am here for the here and now, and I'm excited to be back. And I love that conversation.
Right. And I'm going to let you ask the next question before before the internet kicks you off.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Julie, our next question is, why does SEO matter to a small business? And what is one SEO best practice a small business can implement today?
All right. I would say people are searching. Well, I'm going to reverse a little bit here. Like between 2017 and 2019, Google reported like a 900% increase in searches for people looking for the phrase near me. So that's one of the most important ones too for small businesses, because they're local small businesses and people are looking for web developers near me, hair salons near me, travel agents near, whatever it may be, realtors near me, that's what you're looking for. And so number one, that they need to be found there and showing up. And like I said a little bit ago, it doesn't have to be, you may not beat some of those sites that there's just no way we're going to beat them. It's kind of beating your competition. So taking a look at your competition and seeing where you rank in relationship to them. So that's something too. I have an analysis I send to clients in addition to saying, hey, what are your top 10 keywords you want to rank for? I'm like, who's your competition? Tell me your top three, because in my reporting, I'm going to go look through and see kind of what they're doing as well. So small businesses, I'm going to give an example. I had a client who was in a small resort town, and the resort town was all second homeowners, and she did remodeling of homes. And she really wanted to do pay-per-click ads. So she wanted to do some Facebook ads and Google ads, but we couldn't target that city because they didn't live there. They lived throughout the country. But she was adamant, like, we have to do these ads. That's what everybody says we have to do. And I was like, okay, we can try it, but if it doesn't work, like, let's really talk about SEO. So we gave it a run. It didn't work because you're targeting the whole country and your budget's gone in 5 minutes. And so we did the SEO, and she couldn't believe the difference that SEO made, because the people were looking for contractors and remodelers in that city, and she was appearing at the top, and then they were giving her a call. So I remember the first time she was like, oh my gosh, Julie, it worked. They told me they found me by Google. I couldn't believe it. And so I'm like, see, if you continue with it, and and blogging is a very important part of SEO. So that would be one of the tips that I would recommend is blogging, just to kind of keep adding content to your website. So Google looks for websites that have new content added to them. If you haven't added something to your website in over a year, the bots are trying to determine, okay, who do we want to show in the positions? They're like, oh, they haven't posted anything in a year. They might not have any relevant content. Let's go with somebody who's posted more often.
Yeah.
So that would be one tip. I'm going to give a couple tips if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Please.
Page speed is very, very important. So you can just do a search, go to Google page speed. Just when you Google it, it's actually developers.google.com/speed page speed /insights. So it's really long. Wait, I can probably send that over to you in the chat.
Yeah, send it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if people go to that, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my other screen to grab this for you, and they put their website in, they can see how fast their mobile site is loading and how fast their desktop is loading, and get those numbers. So Google wants to see them in the green. If not, then talk with your web developer to get them there. So, that's something that I don't do that aspect of it. I send that over to whoever their webmaster is and send those kind of reports. I'm like, okay, here's where we need to be. Can you help with these things? If they can't help, then I have other people that I can work with that I can send projects to help with those kind of things. So that's one of the most important ones right now, is just making sure your website and your mobile site are loading. Number 2, I would say implementing Google Business. I'm surprised at how many small businesses I work with that don't have a Google Business account. Mm-hmm. And even if you work out of your house, you can still have a Google Business. You don't have to show your address. Actually, Google doesn't allow you, if you have a home address, to show it there. So that's number 2 is do that.
Thank you for saying that. You know what, Julie? I thought you had to be a brick and mortar to have a Google My Business account, but you really don't. I actually have a Google My Business. I can post to it, and you can have people review you, and it's on there. And so that's considered fresh content. Would you say, like, Google's like associating that with do you know where that would fall into it?
So Google, okay. So I don't know if you take a lot of the Google classes. I take a lot of the Google classes, and I kind of laugh when I'm in the classes, because I'm reading between the lines of what they're saying, and they're like, this doesn't help you, but it does help you. So it's one of those things. So I always tell people, like, remember when it used to be Google Plus, and Google Plus wanted to be the next Facebook or the next Instagram? Well, it didn't happen. So now Google Business is kind of their version of, we want you to add photos. We want you to add posts. We want you to add products. We want people to review you. And like I said, they don't say it, but to me, they do say, like, if you're doing these things, when people are searching and we're showing the map, you may appear higher, or you may, they're not going to say that, but I feel like it plays a role. And a lot of the clients that I work with, when they implement adding products, adding posts, photos are huge. And I tell them too, I'm like, if you can get clients to add photos, that's even better.
Yeah.
And I look at Google Business Analytics all the time for my clients. And I'm like, it's amazing to see, because their competition isn't doing it, and how they're beating their competition just because that little trick right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you talk?
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk just for a minute about the changes that are happening with the voice request? When you're talking, you ask the question as opposed to type it into your. My brain is like totally freezing right now.
That's how mine is too. Yes. Because we're on the same page, Anna, right now.
These two are fighting also cold, guys. So there may be one moment where it's just me. I don't know, but let's cross our fingers we don't lose these two experts here.
So that's something that's another reason that SEO is important, that you continually do it, because it changes. I remember when I first started in it, I was reading this blog, and this guy's like, you just got your website on page 1, you open a beer and you celebrate, and you're back to page 3. And it's like, it just changes so fast. And now the way people are searching changes. So you're not just looking at a keyword, now you're looking at phrases. So not only do you have to list for, okay, I want to show up for this, you really more have to think about, what phrases do I want to show up for? So if I'm looking for, copywriter near me or web designer near me, it's those kind of things. It's just not just the word, copywriting or web design or travel agent. You got to, there's more of, you're asking Alexa, you're asking Siri, you're asking all these different devices. or you're going in and typing even more what you're doing and looking for.
Yeah.
So we have to, put that into play when we're thinking about SEO. And that's why blogging is so important, because you can answer a lot of those questions in the blogs. On the website, you may not have a lot of that, be able to answer a lot of those questions, because you're trying to talk about your products. You're trying to do other things. So that's kind of where I focus on just the shorter terms, short searches, and then the blogs. I'm like, okay, think about, all the different, your ideal client and what they're going to do to find you, or how you want them to find you.
Yeah.
So I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
A lot of what I run into with some of the clients I've worked with is, well, I'm a virtual business, so that whole near me thing doesn't matter. What would you say to those businesses?
Well, that's just like the girl that I worked with who did remodeling in that. So she wasn't, she was spread out throughout the country. Well, her clients were spread out throughout the country. She wasn't there. So they're not searching for near me. So you can still, they're kind of searching for where they're at. Or so even, I guess, if you want like a web designer, so maybe it's more of that niche that you have. So, somebody that's a web designer, that's a woman-owned business, or a web designer that's a military-owned business, or just kind of trying to think of some of the more of those unique phrases that maybe your competition isn't doing. Or if there's a number of different programs out there, the one that I use for the most of my clients is the Neil Patel one, because it's inexpensive. It's like $29 a month. And, you can sit there and do, see the searches, see the keywords, kind of see where you want to be. And, like I said, a lot of my clients are small businesses. They don't have the budget to have, expensive SEO done and running all these reports. And the other part is, when you're the business owner, you don't have the time to, you could be the accountant, you're the secretary, you're the scheduler, you're doing the social media, you're the marketing manager, you wear so many hats that you're like, now you want me to throw SEO on top of this? And I don't have time for this too. So that's, I'm like, I can teach you tricks that you can do this, in not a lot of time. Like once we have the foundation down and all the little pieces in play, it's, it's not that hard to do it once you kind of have all the other pieces, like I said.
I think you are speaking the language of so many small business owners right now.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this. How am I supposed to do this on top of everything else? But you've just given like 3 or 4 just little tiny things that can happen once a month. It doesn't have to be like a daily thing.
It doesn't have to be daily. No.
Right.
A lot of people, I just tell them, like, if you can just go on Google Business once a week, and I said, if you can just blog once a month, I'm like, I ideally would like to see more, but if you can do once a month for me, I'm like, that's what, then we have fresh content on there once a month. And that's going to help huge when, they're crawling your website and, making sure that people are finding you and they're going, yes, that's fresh content. Yes. And you're answering those questions, because you yourself as a business owner can probably think of, what's a question somebody's asking me all the time. And that's a lot of times where I say, like, write down your list of questions. I just emailed a client last week and I was like, hey, these are things that I thought I would be searching for if I was looking for you. Are these the ones that you would think of too? Or think about your last couple clients. What are questions they asked you? Because that's what we're going to kind of base our blogs around, are those kind of questions. So, a lot of times too, it's kind of, like we were talking about too, the referrals too that people are getting, and that word of mouth helps as well. So a lot of clients too, I talk about social proof.
For sure. Can I mention one other thing too, Julie, is that you probably are also like making business owners go, oh my God, I can hire somebody to actually do this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how many times I hear people go, I didn't even know that was a thing, that I could hire somebody to do that. So if you can't do all this SEO stuff and the little things, that's where people like Julie come into play and help the clients. Like you said, she's letting you know you can do it. Yes, you can.
They can do it. Like, I think a lot of people are scared that they think, I can't do it. It's expensive. And a lot of my clients have been like, I don't do SEO because it's very expensive. I've reached out to people. And it can be expensive. I had a client one time, they were locked in an annual contract, and I was able to do more and bring more people to their website in 1 month than the contract they were locked in over the last year. So, I looked at their analytics. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is all you got for, a year? And they couldn't believe in 1 month. So a lot of times too, you got to really see, what are they doing with that SEO and, a lot of this stuff that you can do yourself. And like I said, once there's some behind the scenes things that are difficult to do, that you're going to be working with coding and doing site maps and the H1 tags and all these other, like, meta tags and all this other stuff that might, it's a lot in the beginning. So you hire somebody to do that, and then get trained in on how to do it on the blogs yourself. So you can do it, if you're already writing your blog and then it takes you an extra 20 minutes to do the SEO on the blog. Go for it.
No. Yeah. First, I want to tell you the very first time that I heard the word SEO, it was from a photographer friend, right? And she's like, man, I got to change my SEO. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, what in the world is SEO? And then I was like, well, I know it has to do with blogging, because at that time I was not doing website builds. I was just blogging. But I was like, that seems really hard. Like, I don't know what that is, but SEO seems so hard. I didn't even know what it stood for.
A lot of people don't. They're just like,
yeah,
I know I'm supposed to do it, but it's really expensive and I can't do it. So
right. No, but like you said, Julie, it is not as scary as it may appear. It really isn't. You know what I mean? If somebody like myself can realize from a conversation where I totally played it off like, I totally know what you're saying because I'm a blogger and I know. So
I just want small businesses to know that they can do it too. It doesn't have to be all big corporations, and that you can do it, that you can, there's help out there, and it's not crazy expensive. And
no, I absolutely love this conversation is so important because, like you said, I think Anna and I wanted to make sure that everybody knew how you can do it. With just a little bit of work, you can help optimize all the hard work you're putting into your business. Because if you're not totally all referral, guess what? This is how you will be found. Right. And just today, all of us were Googling something to find something. And we were all laughing before we came on. I mean, I was like Googling, like, what happens if we change our stream? You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm not doing the right keyword because I'm not getting the right answer.
And I was Googling, how do I get my AirPods to work with my MacBook?
Did you find the answer, Julie?
I did, and they're working.
Yes, see? Yeah. I mean, Anna this morning was Googling, how do I get my flight out after it's been canceled? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I was actually Googling, why does American Airlines stink so bad? That's what I Googled.
But you use it without realizing it every day. You are training Google by like putting that search, like that request in that little box. So
and now it's got the smart searches too. So if you've already Googled something, then it thinks, that, okay, I know what you want. So it starts bringing everything up too. And that's another trick I tell people too, when they're trying to come up with those 10 keywords that they're like, Julie, I don't know what. I'm like, well, start typing and you're going to see the recommendations that it shows and be like, oh yeah, that one relates. Oh yeah, that one relates.
Right.
Write those ones down and, let's kind of see where we can get you.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Seriously, this is like the best conversation.
So before we move on to the next question, though, I just want to this is like an action item for anyone that listens or watches the replay, right? So see this, like these 4 things that Julie talked about. So on-page SEO, off-page SEO, technical SEO, and then user interaction. Spend some time over this next week and just get to understand which each of those things means and which one you feel comfortable doing yourself and which one you need more help with. And we would love to hear the answer, because you can do some of these very easily on your own. Some of them you have to know the back end of your website. You have to know kind of like that whole interaction between when you're posting something and the search engines that are searching you. But anyway, just do yourself a favor, spend like 20 minutes, Google these 4 things right here, on page, off page, and technical and user interaction, and just write a quick description and like start to understand what the SEO process is, because you will find you're probably doing more of it than you think, first of all, but then you'll also figure out the areas that you can add more onto second.
Yes.
Okay. I think something else too, like if you have a new website, or even if your website's like 4 to 5 years old, is asking some of your friends and family, like, hey, can you go through my website and kind of give me that user experience? Like, what do you think's happening on here? And then maybe kind of, look at that heat map when they go on there. If you're like, for the next week, I'm going to ask some friends and family to do this and see, okay, am I seeing problems here? What's going on here? Because, I just talked about this on a post that I made recently too, that I had a client who I did SEO before. We were on a call and they're like, hey, we want you to do some SEO on some of the new pages we just added. And I couldn't get to the new pages. And I'm sitting here on a Zoom call and I'm like, like I said, I felt like an eternity because I can't get to it. Finally, I'm like, I can't get to the page. How do I get to it? And the web developer is like, click the learn more. And I was not even, I'm clicking the title. I'm clicking the picture because the learn more was exact same font as everything else. So I wasn't looking for that. So that you have to have that user experience because again, if somebody just bounced off that page, they wanted to buy that product and they're like, I can't read more. I can't add it to my cart. It's gone. So that's kind of part of that bounce rate again too. So you really want to have somebody look at that user experience or, go to somebody, like Anna and Selena and just be like, hey, can you guys take a look at this and let me know what we need to do? Because that's another reason that websites need to be updated every 3 to 5 years too, because there's a lot of things that change. And the same with the SEO. Absolutely. That's why it's ongoing too.
Yeah. I think they definitely work. If they work together, like the site can be so amazing. You know what I mean? Yes. And so sometimes I just want to tell people like, look, if you're going to spend the money, just make sure it has a little bit of both. So you are, you're getting that opportunity of somebody going behind and, because like you said, the more people are clicking around, you're clicking and you're converting because the action you wanted them to do is happening. And like, I loved that post when you put it up. I was like, yes, you have to, anyway.
Well, and like I said in that post too, like a 20-some-year-old, it's going to be different than probably a 40-year-old or 60-year-old. And my daughter talks about that because she's in her 20s and she was just doing interviews for internships. And that was one thing she was talking about. She's like, the experience that people have is completely different, depending on the age. Yeah. So it's just making sure that it's user-friendly too for everybody. So that's something that, it's SEO isn't just having to be found in the searches. I mean, they're looking at, all 4 of those aspects. So making sure you're kind of incorporating all of that. But I just think user experience, that's a big one that I like 100%. Right now that I'm
100% agree with you. Like I absolutely, in fact, like the Coursera course that I'm taking on the user experience with Google, they talk about make your site. It doesn't have to be a professor readability, citability, like it said, make your site user-friendly for all, and it said make it at a 7th, 8th grade level in the sense of you want it to be easy to access.
That's exactly
right. And so I love that you just brought that up because you guys see, this is where all the SEO, you don't realize you're doing it, but you are doing it. And by all these things we're discussing with Julie today. So, okay, go to the next question because we'll be here all night. And poor Julie, I'm sure she's got dinner going. I got dinner, working, and Anna just wants to have dinner in the hotel dining room. You know what I mean?
At some point, I'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Our last question for you, Julie. In your bio, you talk about being an SEO strategist and also a search engine marketer. So SEO versus SEM, what is the difference between the two?
So I like to think of SEM as when you tap into both SEO and pay-per-click in order to get the organic traffic and the traffic from the paid traffic. So SEM and pay-per-click I interchange the two of them. And it's really that paid incentives that you use through search engine marketing and other advertising platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Amazon, House, all the different platforms, Pinterest, everything that's out there. So a lot of times I'll tell clients, and I've actually taken my own money just to show clients, pay-per-click does work because SEO is great. And then you have those clients like you guys were just talking about, like, what happens if I'm virtual? I'm, throughout the country. How does somebody find me? Let's say I'm a virtual assistant. How am I going to compete with other people and major virtual assistant companies? It's hard in, some of those areas. So that's when really the SEM comes into play. So you're doing your SEO, but then you incorporate some pay-per-click. So if you can do, let's say on a Facebook ad campaign, it's $5 a day. So I'll tell people, I'm like, can you just $150 a month? Let's kind of look at, if you're 3 hours of time and say it's $150 a month. If you get one client who's going to book 3 hours, you just broke even on that campaign. And more than likely, if you do a good job, they're going to tell their friends, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Give her a call the next time. Or, maybe they're going to leave you a review. So if you just get one person out of that campaign. So I did it one time for a hairdresser and she was adamant. She's like, I am not doing Facebook ads. I'm not. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care. I'm going to do it and show her that it works. And she's like, what did you do, Julie? She's like, I'm like booked solid this week. And I'm like, I did $5 a day in Facebook ad campaigns for you. And she was like, they work. I'm like, I know they work. They work amazing. So, a lot of times it's just combining the two of them. Yes. Yeah. And just kind of making, because it is hard. And like we're talking about, like, some of the industries, you're not, again, like talk about realtors. you can't beat realtor.com. You can't beat Zillow. You can't beat Trulia. You can't beat a lot of these. So there's some things that you kind of have to incorporate too. So I like the search engine marketing kind of gives you both of that.
Yeah. And there's a strategy behind that whole idea, right? I mean, you just don't go to Facebook and you go, oh, I'm going to pay for this ad and then I'm going to get 100 clients.
No.
And, you know,
Right.
And I used to teach clients how to do Facebook ads. And I realized if you can't write creatively and write for somebody to click, it doesn't work. So I think that's kind of sometimes where you do need somebody to do it. And even with SEO, sometimes you do need people like Anna to help out and to write that content for you. Because, you know, when you got to pick, you know, you have 10 things on that page right there, or you're the one above the fold, but there's 5 others above the fold. And which one's going to make you click? So you have to have that creative writing too. And if you don't have those capabilities, I know when I was in college, like I was amazing in English classes. Like I did super well. And now if I try, I used to do grant writing, you know, years ago too.
Oh my gosh.
If I try to write for grants or try to do a research paper, I'm used to writing now for SEO and ad campaigns. Like I'm like, I can't even write anymore like I used to in college.
Right.
What's happening? So it's very different writing skill set.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's hard for some people. And that's when I learned, like when I used to, you know, train people and it wasn't working and they weren't seeing the success, that I'm like, oh, I get it. They don't know how to write so that people click. So sometimes that's where you do have to have somebody who has that content marketing and, you know, can do that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I just think like, I mean, we said earlier, can people do it? Sure. But, you know, do you want to have the ones that really know how to optimize, if we'll say the word, you really want them to be able to do it. Or you want to do it right and effectively. And the money you're going to put into it, have the people that know how to spend it really put it into work for you. Right. So
that's yes.
And I love how you said that. I have a couple clients that they're men and they're like, you don't want me to write anything because you know, I have one client, he's like, I write like a caveman, so this will not be effective whatsoever, you know? So
but at least he knows that and realizes that. And
no, for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Anna, I don't know if you just like are on audio right now, but I'm gonna move into the next phase. If you don't pop back in, I'm just gonna do it. Oh yeah, she's out again. Hotel. Hey, we did pretty good with her on there, huh?
We did, yes.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is you're gonna want to know where to find Julie. So I'm gonna have Julie kind of share all the places. So Julie, go ahead. Tell everybody where to find you. There she is.
She's back. She's back. LinkedIn is primarily where I like to be. So that's like the one spot that, you know, I just like kind of seeing you guys on there and hearing what people have to say. So I spend most of my time on there. I do have our marketing girl on Instagram that I say all the time I'm going to post on, and I try to get good about it. And, you know, it's just kind of finding the time because I've just been so busy. And then, you know, when I'm done, I kind of like to spend time with the family. And so, you know, I feel bad. And then I am like a huge into family traditions and, you know, being military and moving all the time and just kind of trying to forge those traditions with the family and different things. Like I started this, you know, I thought in my head, like last year, like, oh, I'm going to tell people all about these great traditions that we do and implement them. And, you know, so I've been, you know, thinking I'm going to grow this and again, finding the time. So that's just another fun one that I'm kind of working on. Like I think the last post I did on there was the pumpkin, and all month long we've been writing on the pumpkin. And my daughter is like, she's in college. So it's been great. You know, her communicating with us every day. I'm like, hey, what are you thankful for? Yeah. And so at least I get a text every day because she's telling me something. But she's like, this is going to be the stupidest, funniest pumpkin in the whole entire world. Because some of the things that we all say, or like some of the things that she's thankful for in college, she's like, I never thought I would say this. No, so it's actually been pretty fun. So it's something that we just started this year.
Yes, follow her there. I just started following, and I love the concept of what Julie is doing there. So please do go over there, be a part of her community. So, all right, and then that last place, where do you also love to be other than
on Clubhouse?
Instagram? Yeah.
Clubhouse is
follow there. I know. I love it. And I just went back to it, Julie, and I was hoping I ran into Julie, I think last week in a male spouse group. But it was fantastic. So you can find her there. She's amazing. Seriously. Hey Anna, how you doing? Are you there? No, she's there, but
That's
not
right.
really there. So, okay. So the next thing we want to bring up is, okay, we were really excited. Anna and I worked hard on this. And then
It's
we
great.
sent it to Julie because we're like, we can't be talking about this if Julie's going to be like, girls, I don't know. But we actually came up with a 10 search engine optimization. You want to spell it out, right? Because you also want to be found. SEO tips for small businesses and entrepreneurs. All you have to do is go to our link. It's actually right here. AnnaandSelena.com/our resources. You'll find it right there. It's free, but grab the 10 tips that was approved by Julie. Phew.
They're great tips. They are great tips. Like, everybody needs to grab this.
Yes, we worked hard on it. Anna wrote all the words. I just made it pretty. And then I was like,
you guys did a great job.
Good. Yay, thank you. Thanks, Julie. Oh my gosh. So go grab it. If you have questions, let us know. And then here's our tip. And I was joking with Julie, and it's funny that Anna's not here because Anna understands things better than I do. But Caitlin Eldridge always gives us our tip to end the show, which is most of the time, just so you know, you are a cash basis reporter. Accrual is often reserved for larger companies. I don't know what any of that means, Julie. And this is why I just hired Caitlin to just be the person that manages my money, because I don't know. I don't even know what this means. Is that horrible?
I don't know what it means either, but it's great.
Okay. Guess what I did though before the show? I actually said, what is a cash basis reporter in Google? And I was like, wow, I still can't explain it. You know what I mean? So anyway, Caitlin thought this was a good tip, so you need to know it. So, all right. Okay, look, you can find us everywhere. We're really, really thankful that, Julie, that you joined us today. Anna has come in really, though, still clutch with her spotty hotel Wi-Fi. She made it for most of the show. So we're grateful. Thank you for letting us change it. Julie is now off tomorrow. She's probably going to recover from all of this, all this stuff. But we want to make sure you guys follow us on YouTube. You can find this episode in a podcast as of tomorrow. You'll find us on Spotify, Apple, Google, all the things. Just find us and listen. Just because you're not going to see all the visuals does not mean you're not going to hear all of Julie's amazing tips. And then, just so we all know, next week is one of my favorite topics. I was in it 10 million times, but we have, I guess, Elaine Jordan on, and we're going to just talk about customer relationship managers, like your CRMs, Dubsado, Honeybook, 15 hats or 20 hats or whatever it is. I can't remember, but things like that. So
I'm excited for that one.
I am too. No, I am too, right? I mean, I was in it 10 million times today, but Julie, thank you for ending the show with me today. You know what I mean? So
thank you for having me. I was so excited.
Yes. No, and we will, guys, we'll catch you next time. Me and Julie are going to head out and go have dinner with our family.
Dinner. Yes, dinner.
Bye. Aloha, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, guys.